Okay, so now we should be live. Okay.
Oh, there it is. Oh, I see myself.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just gonna mute that so I can't. Oh my god, it puts us all big.
Where are you looking?
Oh, I see myself. So I have two screens, so like I have.
Well, yeah, I do too, but I'm not like. Is it on YouTube that we're streaming?
Yeah, we're on YouTube.
Yeah.
I'll send the link.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Felix, you have a Microsoft Surface, right?
Nope, I got an HP Spectre.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah, but it still does like the bendy thing that the Surface can do.
The Microsoft Surface Pro is tempting me. Oh, it looks nice.
The Surface.
It's a lot though.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess is one of us screen recording or does it record itself?
I hope.
I can screen record just in case.
Okay. Oh, there's 3 people watching.
It's probably all us.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. That's that. No. Okay. So I guess we'll get started then. And people can just watch it after anyways.
Yeah.
So I don't know where to start. Katerina's gonna join later, I guess.
Yeah.
I post that we're started.
Should I post the link, I guess?
Oh yeah.
Let me grab my phone. I'll Instagram it.
Yeah, I can do Facebook.
Also got to make sure it's the right link in the Instagram bio real quick.
I just posted in the 2022 group chat if you just want to copy that link.
Okay. Oh yeah, it's still this links to the. All right, cool.
Ooh, up to 7, 8.
We're pulling in the views.
You're kidding. Where are the ads?
Felix got kicked.
Wait, what do you mean you got kicked?
Felix said he got kicked. I can't add anybody. Hello?
Wait, Felix, are you just gone? Can you not?
He's straight up gone.
Oh, goodness.
This Felix is actually gone.
Can we add him back?
I can't invite people.
Neither can I.
I can't. We might have to end it and restart it.
I might have to.
No, but he's controlling it.
On the in this stream, it's just you. Like if you go back and look, because
Oh my
Felix
god,
is
it's
gone.
literally just me, dude. I don't like this. I'm just gonna. There we go. Alright, we gotta figure this out.
Okay. So I guess are we gonna have to hang up and then restart? Oh wait, he's back.
Yay! Okay, got
How'd
it.
you get back in?
I had to go through the YouTube account and a bunch of other stuff. Okay,
We're back.
we're back. Okay. So now we can get started, I guess. Did anyone post? Oh, you posted it in the group. Perfect.
I also posted on Instagram.
Awesome. Okay. Now, to any of the viewers, are you able to comment your questions?
Oh, if you're viewing it, you might want to press some live chat instead of top chat.
Oh yeah.
But there's still nothing, so.
Okay. Well, how about okay. So I guess I can get started with sort of like introducing us. So I'm Felix. I'm
Someone said hello. Look at that.
Oh, someone said hello.
Yeah. Sorry, I interrupted
Perfect.
your interruption. You can keep going.
No, it's all good. So I'm Felix. I'm going into second year of GBDA, obviously. I'm currently the Chief of Finance for GBDA Society. I'm also a Stratford ambassador, so you may have seen me at one of the open houses. And I'm also going to be a Don this coming fall, so I could potentially be your Don. I don't know who else wants to introduce themselves.
I'll go. I'm Jeet. I'm the Chief of Communication External. So a lot of the posts on like the Twitter and Instagram, you guys will see that'll be me sending those posts out. And I don't really have much else, so I'll let Kyle introduce himself if he wants to.
Okay, hey guys, I'm the Chief of Communications Internal. So I'm basically working within the GBDA Society and helping out Jeet, working with him. And so I lived in Rev, it's a dorm style, and I also live in Vancouver. So if you guys want any questions about that or just from living far away, just let me know.
Oh, yeah, I can also help with off-campus living because I bus to Waterloo every day.
Yeah. And I lived at UWP in the living learning community. So if you have any questions regarding that, I saw a few in the Facebook group chat. But if you have any other questions, you can direct those to me. We also will be having Katarina join us later, hopefully. She is our GBDA Society president. And she also lived at UWP, but because last year was the first year that there was a living learning community, she wasn't in the living learning community. But yeah, so really the live stream is best for us. If you guys comment your questions in the live comments section or live chat, and we'll be able to see those and sort of give you answers. We also sort of wrote out our own tips that we would recommend. I'm just going to move into the living room. Our own tips that we can give you in regard to residents and roommates. Oh, it's so much cooler down here. Okay. Sorry. It's really hot outside.
Yeah, I heard
it's
pretty
boiling.
warm.
It's like almost 30, I swear.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Okay. So, I don't know. Who wants to go first with sort of their spiel, or should I?
Well, okay, I'll take it.
Okay.
So, so I lived at Ronite Village first year, so last year, and I had a couple questions here that I already posted. So I think a big concern that some people have with the Rev is the cafeteria. So the misconception is that Rev has a bad cafeteria, and it's not bad. It's just not as diverse as some of the other ones because it's an older residence. But that being said, it's still really good, and there's still different nights, but sometimes it does get a little bit old. But V1, the cafeteria at V1 is still a 7-minute walk away, and most of it's indoors through MKV. So in the winter, when it gets cold, it's still not too bad. And there's also more than enough laundry and dryers, which is a problem at some of the other residences. And I've only ever had to wait to put my stuff in the dryer once, and that was during the September and the beginning of the year. So one of the first questions that I got was, are there any benefits not being in learning living community? And the one that I found was that because my floor didn't have any GBDA students, I was able to, and I wasn't in LLC or learning living community, I was able to make a lot of friends who were in other programs, which was nice to make a more diverse group, because you do kind of see a lot of the GBDA students every week at Stratford. So having a lot of friends in different programs is really nice. And then, G, do you want to take another question, and I'll come back to my second one?
Yeah. So I don't know. Like, I didn't really do much like on-campus stuff because I was busing there a lot. So if you do bus there, you want to make sure you're always like, I don't know, I'd say half an hour early to like something you have to go to, because sometimes the buses are completely unreliable and they're way later than they're supposed to be. So if you are busing from somewhere else, like I did, like I bus from Cambridge, so I had to take like 2 different buses to get there all the way. And you have to make sure you're like at the bus on time, otherwise you're kind of done for. So I guess.
Yeah, and even like for UWP, they just added the LRT, so now they have the big barrier that comes down when the trains go by. So if you are in the LLC or living learning community, and in UWP, you always want to sort of account for some extra time. I usually go 15 minutes ahead, just to make sure you get to classes or meetings on time. But yeah.
Yeah, the LRT is going to be taking over one of the a couple of the major buses.
Yeah.
Once it's done testing, so.
There were quite a number of questions on Facebook. I don't totally remember exactly what they are, but they were in the context of ranking and your forms for your residents. So I believe the form you have and the information that you have to put in right now is just if you would like to be a part of the living learning community. And I can sort of speak about the benefits of that a little later. But right now you're just choosing if you would like to be a part of the living learning community. And then I believe after June 4th, you'll be getting another form more about like, are you a nighttime person? Are you a morning person? And then also that's where you'll rank, do you want to live in UWP, or do you want to try and get into the Claudette Miller Hall, so CMH, which is the new residence building?
I forgot it got changed to that.
Yeah, it's always a little tricky. It just keeps.
It's gonna be NRB for us forever.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I guess. Oh, there was another thing I just wanted to mention, which was the maximize potential and certificate and the amped conference. Now this is more for once you've started, but definitely look out for it. It's a certificate and conference run by residents, um, and it's really great to have if you want to don in the future. I definitely recommend getting it, and it also, like Kyle was saying earlier, it's great to meet people outside of GBDA for once in a while. So going to those sort of certificates and events is great too. So yeah, Kyle, I don't know. Do you want to answer another one of your common
Yeah,
questions?
sure. So someone had asked what it was like living with another person because at Ronite Village, you do just get one room with two desks, two beds, and two closets. So from what I've seen, it's really hit or miss, with the majority being all fine. Everyone almost always gets a roommate who they get along with, and so I had a really good roommate. So my experience is really positive, but it's really important to set some ground rules, such as what time the latest you're staying up to study in the room with the lights on, so that the other person gets some sleep. It's really just because you're living so close together, having a lot of communication just helps avoid conflict because there will be a couple problems. And as well, just be prepared that there's not always a lot of privacy in your room because, such as when you're changing, the only way to get out of the direct line of sight from someone else is to kind of change behind the closet. So if you're kind of more self-conscious person or just want that more privacy, then Rev probably isn't your option. But for me, it wasn't a big deal. I mean, we kind of just stayed at our desks and had our backs to each other the whole time. But just make sure if you choose Rev to have a lot of communication to discuss any problems before they boil over because you are sharing a room. So you don't want to have any tension.
Yeah. And I would say the same for UWP and all the apartment style rooms too. Even though you're not as close because you have your own room and kitchen and bathroom, it's still very important. And get to email your roommate once you find out from your contract who they are. Email them before you actually get to move-in day, because if you are just meeting them for the first time, or even just talking to them for the first time, it's a little awkward. So you always want to keep that line of communication open because it makes everything so much easier.
Felix, did you discuss with your roommates what you guys were each bringing in terms of dishes and stuff before you came?
Yeah. So we actually, I was in Quebec at the time, but we emailed for about a month deciding who would bring a microwave, who would bring a mixer, who would bring a toaster and that sort of basic stuff, which really helped in the end because we didn't all bring a set of dishes, a set of glasses, and use up all our kitchen just storing stuff. And for it was also great because I only live an hour away. So if there is someone in your room or in your apartment that lives closer, you could always assign that person to say, "Oh, we'll go. We don't know if we need this or not, but after a week, if that person goes home and gets that, if we need it, that's another great way to not bring too much stuff, but bring enough at least for the first week to get you started, get you living in residence, and get you comfortable, but not be overflowing in boxes." Yeah. And then, Jeet, so with living off campus, there was a question in here asking about did it affect your ability to be social?
I'd say a little bit because the later you stay on campus, the harder it is to get consistent buses because they're normally the I Express comes every 10 minutes, so that's good. But normally the I Express doesn't take you all the way home, so you'll need to take another more local bus, and those get restrained from every half an hour to every hour, so you might have to wait a while if you stay later. And I felt that my social ability was narrowed down a little bit because I had to leave earlier just to make sure I got home without having to wait a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, but there's still a lot of opportunities for getting involved. Like for the living learning communities, people, this is another common question that I got even at the open houses. If you're not a part of a living learning community, if you live off campus, if you live at Rev or MKV or Village One, wherever you live, a lot of times you're still like, it's not like we're going to bar you out of living learning community events. You're still welcome, and it usually makes them funner. To have more people. So that's something to remember, that like just because you're not in it doesn't mean you can't come to the events.
Yeah, I went to a couple of them last year.
Yeah, I went to a bunch of them. Like I was there sometimes more than a lot of people, probably half the people on the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You also moved to like EWP for a little bit, didn't you?
Basically.
The stage. What else do we have for residents' questions? Kat's got a couple here in terms of groceries that we'll answer later when she tunes in.
Yeah.
When is she tuning in?
She said she would. Yeah, I don't know. How about we can go through some of those questions so at least they're answered, but she might be able to expand on them.
Mm-hmm.
So for the people living in living learning community or just at MKV and UWP, it's apartment style. So that means you get your own bathroom, you get your own living room, kitchen, and if you're at MKV, it's 4 bedrooms. If you're at UWP, either 2 or 3. So you can get your own meal plan. Which I would recommend. Even if you just get the smallest meal plan, it's great during exams just to be able to get food. But most of the time, you're going to be getting groceries. So I personally went to the Value Mart just in Uptown Waterloo. It's about 10-minute walk, 5-minute bike ride. And I usually spend about $50 a week on groceries.
There's also a shuttle that Waterloo provides that comes from Abbey and goes to the Walmart. I believe it's Walmart, isn't it?
Yeah, the Walmart by King.
Yeah.
It's also uptown, but it's a lot farther to walk.
It's the Bridgeport one, right?
Yes, I believe so. I think so. Yeah. And then there's also there's the GRT. If you want to go to Zayre's, they have you get 10% off on Tuesdays. So if you go to Zayre's, there's an iExpress like 201, I think, that pulls up right beside UWP, goes every 10 minutes right to Zayre's, and then brings you right back. So it's really convenient.
I see a question here, which is where are the best places to study or do group work in res? I'll talk from a Rev perspective. On each floor at Rev, there's a study room. So it's basically a room with a table, about 8 chairs, and then a whiteboard. So that's where I did a lot of my studying because, sometimes it was late at night and I didn't want to disturb my roommate. And then there's also the cafeteria, which is sometimes empties out later at night, but it's often pretty loud.
Yeah. So it's very similar at UWP. They actually just did a bunch of renovations during our exams, which was very inconvenient. But now there are lounges on every second floor of EB Hall. I pronounce it EB. And then if you're in CMH, there's a small kitchen and study space and study rooms built right there. And then there's also the Great Hall on the main floor of CMH.
Felix, you're in quite a lot of groups and clubs, it seems. Or just got your fingers into a lot of pies. You want to talk about some things that you can join first year?
Sure. Yeah, I did a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
So I made a goal to try something new. So I actually did ballroom dancing. for a second term. It was interesting, to say the least. But I would urge you to try something new. There's a photography club, there's ballroom dancing, there's varsity sports. There's over 200 clubs to join. And then there's also a bunch of events. So I already mentioned the AMPed conference. I forget what it stands for, but it's sometime in October, I believe. Um, and it's a great way to meet people and not just study the entire term, because sometimes that can get a little boring. Um, yeah.
Yeah, there's also intramurals for a lot of
Yes.
sports. Like there's some softball, soccer, basketball, hockey, dodgeball. There's kind of
Quidditch.
something for Quidditch. There's Quidditch as well. There's kind of something for everything. So you can register as a team or by yourself and you get placed in the team. It's a lot of fun. And it's a great way to meet new people and kind of have that break from studying, like Felix was talking about.
Yeah. And there's also during like orientation week,
Oh, there's a
there,
question.
oh, there's a question?
Yeah, our floor is co-ed at UWP.
Yes. So the rooms are not unless you request like a roommate who is, like the other sex. But uh your like apartment will be one gender, but the floor is co-ed. But you have your own bathroom, you have your own apartment, so it's not that big of a deal. Yeah. And then I think the CMH, because those are traditional styles, so either single or double. Um, I think those are not co-ed, if I remember correctly.
So how did you guys like keep track of your stuff on move-in day? Because I can imagine that was probably pretty chaotic.
Uh, for me, they actually handled moving day really well. Surprising how many people were just moving in on that day that I did. But they have like hundreds of volunteers, it seems, that help you out once you park, and they grab your stuff and then bring it up to your room. So for me, they made it up. I had about 4 people helping me. We made it up to my room in one trip from the car. So it was really easy. Nothing got lost. I didn't have my name or anything. It was just one trip.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'll try and show you. I actually have yeah, so what I did was when I moved in, I put on these little stickers. I don't know if you can see it very well. So basically it had my name, so Felix Weaver, and then room number EH0906B. So that gives the person moving in, or if a box that goes missing or something, if your name's on it and your room, so Ebby Hall is EH, CMH is CMH, and then whatever your room number is, makes it super easy for people to find your room and be able to give you your stuff. Yeah. I don't know. I'm uber organized, so that's something I do. Not many people do it, but I recommend doing it. So, so then Kyle,
Yeah.
I guess this is one of the questions that I got asked during one of the open houses that I just remembered. What was it like living farther from the arts section of campus? Because like most of our first year classes were at like arts lecture and Haggy Hall and those sort of buildings, and Rev is quite far. So how did you deal with that?
For the first, until it snowed, basically, I would walk to class. And so it'd take about 15, maybe 20 minutes. So for me, that wasn't a problem because I don't mind walking, and it's usually kind of a nice day. And then during the winter, there's a bus that's right outside Rev that can take you to Downring Road, so it's faster during the winter when it's all cold. So for me, it wasn't an issue at all, and I don't think it should be a deal breaker at all if you're thinking about living in one of the residences like V1 or Rev or MKB. But you are going to be a little bit farther, and if you're going to an event for GBDA, it's probably going to be at UWP, so you're going to be walking maybe 25 minutes to get there because it's across campus. But I definitely wouldn't say it's a deal breaker at all. It's just sometimes an inconvenience.
Yeah. And I think for there were a few people last year that decided to live at CLV, which is the townhouse style residence, which is quite a far walk if you're walking, but I believe there's a shuttle quite often, which brings you to the campus if that's what you're wondering.
There's also, I'm pretty sure there's a GRT bus stop like right across the street
Yeah.
from CLV, so it's not that bad.
Oh, this is also something. I'll just mention this because this is something that a lot of people don't know about. But in Waterloo, just in general in the city, there's a lot of bike theft. So if you're deciding, like I brought a bike, but you want to make sure that either you're okay with it getting stolen or it's a really, really old bike. I brought a 40-year-old bike that looks like crap, but it runs. So you want to have a good chain, like chain the front wheel, chain the frame to the bike stands around campus, because if you're bringing a bike, it's gonna get stolen if it's not chained or if it's like a nice new bike.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then what else to talk about?
There's some questions about electives and courses, but are we going to cover that next time?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is just residence and stuff, right?
Yeah. So this doesn't really fall into residences, but during orientation week, if you are living in residence and not like commuting or driving or don't have a car, you're gonna want good walking shoes, especially during orientation because you're gonna be walking a lot. I actually brought hiking boots because I was one of the few, but yeah, you're going to do a lot of walking and you do not want sore feet when you're walking to your first class on Wednesday or Thursday or whatever day it is.
Yeah.
A small tip.
Yeah, I was wearing Vans and I got some blisters and it was not great for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Definitely bring a pair of runners.
And especially your Dawn, most likely in the first or second week, will give you a campus tour. And wear good shoes. I remember one person in my tour was wearing high heels, and man, were they complaining by the end. And the campus is quite large. So I guess we're sort of going away from residence, but the campus is quite large. So you're going to want to have some good shoes available no matter what time of year. Especially in the winter, bring boots because the roads and sidewalks are slippery and snow covered.
Okay, there was like a couple days where like the entire ground was just ice and people were slipping all over the place.
Myself included.
Yeah. Also, when you're in residence, don't skip your dawn meeting, your first one, where you get the one-on-one, because they're there for a reason and they have a lot of resources available to you and you can learn a lot, because I know I did, and they're pretty interesting.
Yes. And as someone who's going to be a Dawn, it's in my contract that I have to have a meeting with you. So I'm going to hunt you down if you don't go to the first 101. And it's good to get to know your Dawn. Like, if you get to know them and sort of get to know their background, for instance, my Dawn this year, she actually worked at a resume vetting agency. So I was able to give her my resume and she was able to go through it and tell me what I needed to improve to make it better for when I was going to get a summer job.
Where are you working right now, Felix? A bit off topic, but
at a really small museum in my hometown. The Palmerston Museum.
Fine.
I'm gonna Google that.
There's not much to see. It's one room.
Is this a railway museum?
Yeah, it's the most exciting part is there's handcar rides. But anyways, off topic.
It's got a 4-star rating.
From the 11 reviews or whatever we have. Yeah. So I don't know if there's any of the people that are following along right now. If you have any questions, it'd be great to answer them.
We're running out of stuff.
Yeah, we're running out of stuff to say. And Katerina hasn't joined yet, so and my computer's about to die.
We're getting Felix's house tour.
This is my living room.
It's gone all over the place.
I just got back from work, so all my stuff is upstairs. Okay.
We could talk about like starter hacks and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, any pro tips anyone has? Do as
I don't-
much stuff as you can.
Gee, do you want to mention starter hacks and hackathons in general?
Yeah, starter hacks and like hackathon is, if you don't know, it's like where you can either do a solo hack or a group hack, where you get some sort of solution to solve, and you get to like prototype a design, like code a design, or just like have just like a design there that functions, but it's not a real working thing. They're lots of fun. You can either pick a group you want to join, or like make a group with friends, or just join a random group of people to meet new people. I only did starter hacks this year, and that was lots of fun. Felix is on my team for that, and it's kind of a nightmare if you don't have like, because we met the people in our group like the day of, so we didn't really know their working style, and it was kind of like awkward to try and like finish our product.
Yeah.
But
Good time.
Yeah,
it was a good time.
I had a really different experience with it. I went with a group and we just met them there, but it all worked out well. And it's basically going from concept to a prototype within a weekend. So basically 48 hours. So everyone's just grinding it out. And I'm actually on the team doing starter hacks next year. So everyone come out,
cool.
join.
Did applications for that
We
start?
need designers.
Okay, so we got another question from Merhida. Hopefully I said that right. Sorry if I didn't. What do we need to bring first year? So personally, I can sort of answer this a little. It really depends on what residence. So for myself, I can speak for apartment style, because that's what I lived in last year. You want to bring like kitchen stuff. Like you get the very basics. You get a bed, you get a desk, you get a night table, like, and then a basic kitchen of like oven, sink, like that's basically it, and a bunch of cupboards. So you need to bring like forks, knives, like all your cutlery, all your plates, all your dishes. And then for myself, I brought like pasta and rice and very basic foods to cook. Ones that are like maybe 10 minutes to make. Because sometimes during exams and times of high stress when you get to start like big projects, it's nice to have something that you can cook really quickly. If you have a meal plan, it's great to use that when you're super busy or stressed, so you don't need to stress about cooking. I don't know, Kyle, you can probably speak on traditional style.
Yeah, so for traditional style, there's not much. You don't need to bring any dishes or anything like that because you don't have a kitchen or a microwave because there's a communal microwave for the floor. So basically, what I would bring is make sure you have a fan because it gets really hot during September and October, and also make sure what are they called? Thing with multiple, you can stick multiple plugs into.
A power bar.
A power bar because there was only two plugs in my room. I really needed that. Yeah. But also make sure you bring a mini fridge, especially if you're in dorm style. And
there's also a new question.
Yeah. So that's
you do get a big fridge for the apartment. You don't need to bring a fridge. So you get like an oven, a sink, and a fridge. Sorry, I forgot the fridge. Sorry.
Do a lot of people still bring mini fridges at UWP?
No, I don't think it's more so like, if you're going to have like alcohol or something, which you're allowed to have if you're of age, and you want it cooled, a lot of people would bring a mini fridge to have it in their room, just so, because alcohol is expensive. People would have it in their room so that like no one takes it if a lot of people are in your room. I didn't have one and it worked totally fine. The fridge does get quite full with 3 people using it. And it also depends on, do you have like a sort of system where each person buys their own food and it's totally separate, or you might have a system of like everyone sort of like eats together and like the food's all shared, and maybe like everyone just puts in like $15 each week and one person buys food for the week. It really depends, but food does get really full in the fridge. So I recommend, if you like eating a lot, or like with your roommates discuss beforehand, like, oh, like I like I don't know, a lot of food and I like eating, you might want to bring a mini fridge just in case. It's also nice. I had a not great experience with my roommates. Well, not terrible, but like one of my roommates was taking some of my food. So I labeled all my food so that to try and deter them from taking my food, and it didn't really help. But at that point, I would have liked a mini fridge. So yeah, it sort of depends what you want.
That's personal preference. Also, question: what are the advantages of and disadvantages of staying in an LLC?
Oh man, I should have let one of you guys answer the last question, because now I'm going to be talking again.
I didn't know the answer to this one. I was not an LLC.
Okay, advantages. I'd say I did not. I have my own camera and I like photography, but I had never used Photoshop, Premiere Pro, After Effects, any of those programs. So it was really great to. Can one of you get Katarina to send her email so she can join?
Yeah, I'll text her.
It was really great to be able to go like to one of my roommates,
I don't
or
know if she can join.
yeah, maybe she. Okay, maybe Katarina will not be joining us today. She's just having a little bit of an emergency. But anyways, so where was I? Oh yeah, if you need help, it's great to just be able to knock on someone else's door, go two doors down. There's bound to be someone in GBDA in that room because it's a living learning community, and just be like, hey, do you know Photoshop? Can you help me with this? And that really helps, especially when you're starting out and maybe don't have a lot of experience in the art section, or like I came in more with a business background. So if you need help with business, someone else might be able to help you right away. As for disadvantages, I'd say, like Kyle mentioned, you get to meet a lot of interesting people not in GBDA when you're not in the LLC. That was one little bit of a regret, that I didn't get to learn more people outside of GBDA. But that's one of the reasons I joined so many clubs and went to so many hackathons and conferences, because I think the advantages of the LLC really outweigh the disadvantages. But it really depends on who you want to meet, what kind of like residence you want to live in. It all depends on what you want to shape your university career to be.
Okay, Felix, I'm going to stop you there.
Okay.
I see a comment here. One of you guys said you didn't live in LLC. Did you regret it? What's that?
Oh, never mind. I think both of us said that, actually.
Yeah, so both Jeet and I didn't live in living community, and I didn't regret it because I really enjoyed my living experience at Rev, and sometimes I was able to go to the LLC events even though I wasn't a part. So for me, it wasn't a problem not being a part of it at all.
And I commuted from home every day, so that was like an hour and a half out of my day gone just from busing to Waterloo, and then another half an hour just to bus back. So there was a bit of regret there, but I also saved a ton of money by not paying for a res. But if I could go back, I'd probably want to live in a res to probably be more social.
I would say LLC is a big, it's an advantage. Definitely, it's definitely useful. But if you're really want to be at a different residence other than one that has LLC, it's not exactly a deal breaker. Like if you really want to live at Rev, then that's okay. You're not going to be missing on like a huge thing, but it's definitely advantageous.
Yeah, like Felix said earlier, like lots of people that weren't in LLC went to all the events that happened for LLC. Like they don't deny you. Like you're able to go.
Yeah. And like that's where it's nice that GBDA is still sort of like a tight knit sort of family and community. that even if you're not in the LLC, you can still go to the events and participate. And if you don't want the closeness of always seeing like GBDA people, both in residence and when you're at Stratford, or in like the communal classes, then it's nice. Like I would see the benefits of living maybe at Rev or MKV or V1. And many times you will meet, like, not that I'm speaking from experience, but for like talking to other people from other residences, you still meet people from GBDA that didn't go to the living learning community and still get that community in.
What's the difference between UW Place and UW Place at Claudette Miller Hall? They're just two different buildings.
Yeah, so the Claudette Miller Hall is a nice new one with the cafeteria in it and all the fancy like elevators that work all the time. And the rest of UWP, it's very broad what's in UWP. There's 4 quadrants, which are mostly upper years. Then there's the 2 towers that look sort of like Lego blocks, and that's Ebby Hall or EB Hall and Beck Hall. And the GBDA living learning community would be in Ebby Hall, which is apartment style. And then the last type is Claudette Miller Hall, which is traditional, so single or double dorms. And there's also the Great Hall and the cafeteria there. Oh, so we have, I'm just going to add her to the broadcast.
Make sure you unmute her.
Yeah, you got to unmute. She's muted right now.
There we go.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, sorry I'm like an hour late.
No, it's all good.
Okay.
Oh, we started late, don't worry.
Yeah.
We've only been going for how long? Only been going for just under like 45 minutes. So Kat's our president for GBDA Society, and in 4th year?
Going into 3rd.
Oh.
Okay.
Close.
Okay, so I don't know if you want to like, Kat, we sort of all talked about our experiences, a little about residence, and I mentioned that you went to UWP, but there wasn't a living learning community. So maybe you can talk about living at UWP but not being in the living learning community.
Okay, yeah, so when you get to Waterloo, you'll kind of see that UWP itself is made up of 6 buildings. So there's like the little 3-story ones, and there's like the towers. So I lived in one of the little ones, and I lived with someone from science and another GBDA student. Everyone else on our floor, they were all engineers. And because UWP is mostly like you have like a kitchen inside, so it's a suite style, and you have like your own room, it was really easy for people to just shut themselves off and not talk to you. So I just had, I don't want to say it was like a lonely experience because I would get out of my room a lot. Like I wouldn't stay there. But it was a lot less social than I anticipated it to be. And that's because like I didn't have any people from GBDA with me or even from like any other program. So it wasn't the best res experience, but it wasn't the worst either. Like my roommates were great. They just kept to themselves a little bit more, except the GBDA roommate. So Kamisha was great. We're still friends. So yeah, if I had the opportunity to be in a living learning community, like 100% I would do it. The only thing that made residents like pretty great other than the roommates themselves was the fact that my Don was amazing. So like piece of advice is get to know your Dons because they'll actually help you in like any really weird situation you get into. Like say you get into a fight with your roommate and it's never happened before. They can help you out. They're nice people.
Yeah.
That was
So there's also a new question. They meant what should you bring as a GBDA student? Okay.
Oh, okay.
Recommended laptop, something that has at least 8 gigs of RAM. 6 or 8. Because anything less will not work with rendering.
Yeah, so bring whatever you have. It's not like you need to go out and buy this fancy computer.
That's what
I
I
did.
did.
I, I had
Oh,
a 5-year-old Asus laptop, and it ran fine with like all the big programs of Photoshop and Premiere Pro. It was definitely slower. So I did go to my roommate sometimes and use his powerful computer to cut down on render time. Um, but bring whatever you need to bring, because like you can't always afford a brand new laptop, and like there's always complications like that. And it's also depending on what you want to make out of it. So if you're doing a lot of videos, you might need a new computer with lots of RAM and lots of storage space. But if you're not doing that sort of stuff and maybe doing like graphic design, you might need something else. So as you work through first year, I bought a new computer after first term because I realized I needed the extra space, I needed the extra RAM, I needed the dedicated graphics card. It really depends on what you're doing.
Yeah,
yeah,
like for lap. Oh, sorry, like I'll go.
I made it through the year with my 2012 MacBook Pro with I think 4 gigabytes of RAM. So it was kind of slow and a little bit stressful sometimes. And I'd recommend getting a laptop with more, like obviously with more RAM and storage. But if you can't afford it, then it's not a deal breaker. You'll be okay. It's just if you get a new laptop, it'll last you through university, and it'll be less stressful.
Yeah.
I got a new laptop because I didn't have one beforehand, and I kind of went all out and got like some giant gaming PC. But like for recommended laptop, it's really personal preference. Like if you prefer Mac, get a Mac because they work fairly well with all the Adobe products.
Yeah.
And if you like Windows, just get a Windows because
Yeah.
I'd also like to mention, like, if you really can't get a laptop and like this whole thing is just stressing you out, I'm a big like on-campus worker. Like, I hate working in my room. I cannot do it. And the thing with the University of Waterloo is you have like an abundance of labs. So there's like regular labs, there's Mac labs, and they're generally open to people to come use. So if you're really in a bend and like you cannot get a laptop at all this year, it's fine.
Yeah.
Like, get to know where your labs are and what time there are classes there and what time there aren't any, and you can just go and do your work there. Like, that worked perfectly fine for me. So yeah.
To
How many-
add on,
Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Felix.
to add on to that, as a GBDA student, you have total access to the Mac lab at East Campus Hall, which is really close to UWP. And those, they have iMacs in there, I think. And I never used it because I never needed it. But if you have
I
a
didn't know that
slower,
was
older
there.
computer, you can always go there and use the extra firepower to render like a video or like an After Effects or design or something that if you need to.
Also, it's just a super cool building. It looks a little bit like a portable, but you have like all of these fine art students and all of their works always being displayed. And it's generally like not too busy. So if you ever just want to like cram in a study session, great place to go.
Yeah.
there's a new question.
Oh, I just wanted to add on too, as a GBDA student, you also have access to the environment faculty's MAD lab. So they actually have a full photo studio there.
Oh, it's great.
And so a lot of people last year didn't know about that, and were a little surprised when I was like saying like, oh, you can go use these photo studios. But definitely take advantage of it. Because it's great to have professional lighting and professional like green screen and like white screen on the back to help you with your photography and videos and such.
Oh, and if you don't have a camera, don't worry because when you go to Stratford campus, you're able to rent a variety of different cameras for yourself to use. Because I didn't have a camera and I got by just fine with just renting cameras every week from Stratford.
I'm the same thing. Yeah.
Okay, so we got another question. So UWP is not just for GBDA students. It's just that, for instance, in Ebby Hall, we took up 3 floors, and those floors were just GBDA. But there are so many buildings in UWP that it's like science, engineering, not a lot of environment faculty because it's pretty far for them. But there's a lot of engineering students that go to UWP.
Because
If
it's learning. Theirs is
Yeah.
their.
Yeah, that's where their LLC is too. So it's just that if you're in the living learning community, it's just that your floor or your group of dorms will be all together in on the same floor or same vicinity of the floor. So you'll still be around GBDA, but it's not just going to be GBDA in your building. Hopefully that answers your question.
We have some questions here for you, Kat, in terms of groceries and grocery cost that we're saving for you.
That was that was a struggle, not gonna lie. So when we first moved in, like we introduced ourselves to each other and we're like, okay, everyone buys their own groceries. Top shelf is yours, Kat. Middle one is yours, Kamisha, and then like whoever, like the other roommate gets the bottom one. We're like, okay, yeah, that's chill. And then we started borrowing each other's food to the point where like we're like, okay, we can just split our grocery bill. That didn't work because halfway through I became a vegetarian and I didn't eat chicken. Chicken is expensive, okay? Like, you can go to Walmart and get like the cheap stuff, but we didn't. And that spawned a lot of arguments. So I recommend all of like you figure out who eats the most and who eats the least. And then you get like, so there's foods that you'll always eat, so like rice, spaghetti, whatever, like like the bulk of your meals. That cereal, whatever, you can put into like the same grocery bill and you can split it. Your personal stuff, so like berries, which are expensive, chips, drinks, whatever, that, like the stuff that you don't want people stealing from you because it's expensive and it's yours, that is on your own bill. Really, you can do it however you want. I found that that's the way that you reduce the most amount of conflict, because when you're students and you're all broke and stresses start coming in, like it's really easy to start like pouncing on people like, hey, did you take like the last pickle? Like, how dare you? You know?
You fiend.
Yeah, so make sure you do that. Also, keep all of your receipts if you are splitting. Do not throw them out. Just, do that. And then if you don't actually eat something and you bought it, make sure you mark it so you don't get it next time. But yeah, discuss that with your roommates like the day you move in and figure it out.
Another way, like I mentioned, I think earlier, you can always do it totally separate, and that worked for my roommates and I. Like one of my roommates, he would just go out and use his meal plan every day. And then myself and my other roommate, we just got our own groceries and kept everything separate. So I would label, whenever I brought groceries into the apartment, I would just put my initials on it quickly, put it in the fridge or whatever, and then he knew that that was my stuff, and then I knew whatever his initials had on, that was his stuff.
Yeah. Also check the backs of your fridges.
Yeah.
Every few weeks, like look back there and be like, oh, these eggs are 2 months expired.
I had one of my roommates was very into cooking, and so that often meant that there were unfinished projects in the back of the fridge. So yeah, definitely that's a good tip. Check the back of the fridge, especially because I'm allergic to mold. So that wasn't fun.
Ooh. That's rough.
But anyways, so why did my screen turn off?
What do you think was your average grocery cost then, Kat?
It was about 100 every 2 weeks.
Okay, yeah, so like the same as
that's decent.
Yeah, we only went shopping every 2 weeks. For other things, like, man, I bought like tortilla, soft shell stuff. And
A
I
tortilla.
forgot about it, and I think it lasted like 3 months in my cupboard, and it didn't go bad. Some things last longer than others, so your cost varies, but I think 100 was like the average, like 120 maybe.
Yeah. And like I mentioned earlier, like for myself, for one person, it was about $50 a week. And if you go on Tuesdays to Zayre's, and I think Value Mart does it too, you can get 10% off if you show like your walk card to the cashier.
Theirs is great, guys. They have really good fruits and stuff.
Yes. Yeah. And they have a lot of selection.
Theirs is basically like Fortino's for those GTA people because it's different over there.
Oh.
I mean, like, it's just like a regular, like, I could compare it to any supermarket, really.
I'm just saying it's like the PC brand or whatever.
Oh, yeah, President's Choice.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You can pick up your walk card, I believe, in August. Like, you can go in to get your picture and they'll print it right away. That's a temporary card, I believe. Then you get your actual card when school starts.
Oh, you can get your real one. I got mine when I came in for Arts 101 day. I don't know if they've changed it since then, but they don't really give you cards. They give you your actual one.
When I went to get mine in August last year, and they gave me a temporary card. Then I went back in September. They gave me a real one. It was weird.
Yeah. If you're gonna go, if you can go to get it a little early before everyone moves in, then do it because the lines get insanely long, and some people have to wait there for hours.
Yeah.
Wait, no, sorry. I went in July, got a temporary card, and then got the real one a couple weeks before everyone else in August. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you go to the Arts 101, you can get it then. Again, really long lineups because everyone's trying to get it. What I recommend doing is taking your picture at home and uploading it to the walk card site. You'll probably get an email at some point about your walk card or in the Arts 101 that'll tell you how to do that. Basically, go on the walk card site and then you can log in and upload a picture that you took to make sure that you look all pretty and fancy and everything on your walk card. I did not do that, and it didn't end up being great.
Well, the one I went, the picture quality is pretty good. Like they used like some Canon camera, pretty good quality.
I'm not even gonna show you mine.
By accident. She's like, okay, ready? 1, 2. Oh, whoops. Looked at the screen, looked back at me, and she's like, you know what? Like, it looks fine. Kept it, and she wasn't lying. It's fine.
Wow.
But
Mine was perfect. So
same. Arts 101 day, I don't know if it's mandatory, but I missed it due to work and I regret it because that's like your first chance to actually meet everybody in your year for GBDA, and I heard it was a lot of fun.
I didn't go.
Hey, you're in Vancouver.
Yeah, and I thought it was, I felt fine about it, but
I wanted to go because I'm pretty close by, but I had to work, so I missed it.
like, I would recommend going. I'm gonna be there, but don't miss orientation. Like, just
don't miss orientation.
Orientation's big.
you're paying for orientation, so go to
it's
orientation.
in your tuition. Like, no, it's not in your tuition. You have to pay for it though.
Guys, see this shirt? It's from orientation. Look how dope it is.
My version's white. That's not fair.
Well,
Online.
that's because I worked orientation. I can. Okay, hold on. No, I have to show you this. I still have my first year like orientation shirt, and it's a work of art. Okay, hold on.
Okay, everyone, run the ad.
Yeah, run an ad. We need to make some money.
In the meantime, though, if you can't make it to Arts 101, I wasn't able to because I was in Quebec at the time. I actually sent my mom to go through all this stuff, which is not typical. But even if you like have a friend or know someone else in GBDA or who is going, at least get notes or whatever from them. But I would recommend it.
And when you go, you get your lanyard that day. And you also get, I think, like 15% off at the store if you go that day, which is a pretty good deal.
I had to buy my lanyard for $1.
Really? I got mine for free.
I had a point in time where like I obsessed over the lanyards and I bought every single one they released.
Oh yeah, I also got the
collection
anniversary one.
Yeah. Anyway,
Ah, this one right here.
It's pink, but
Oh, that's
on the
cool.
back you have my name and then my nickname, which is what I use.
Holy, how much stuff is on there?
Right?
I didn't write a thing on my shirt.
Chronicle.
You know what Khalil did to my shirt? I won't tell you.
Oh,
But he drew something.
I think I know what he did.
Yeah.
But the story continues, because on this one, I don't know if you can see it.
Captain. Oh my god.
I thought that said cat potato.
I saw Captain Potato.
Okay, yeah. See, I wrote potato on my like name, and then I realized that like in the name spot I put potato, and I was gonna put potato as my nickname. I was like, what am I gonna do? So then I wrote Captain Potato as my nickname to try to save it.
Okay.
Didn't work. But yeah, this shirt says potato twice. It's
So
fun.
yeah, everyone, you go to orientation, you get a cool shirt, you meet everyone, you meet everyone in arts basically.
You learn the arts dance.
There's the arts dance, the arts cheer. We got some cool sunglasses.
Oh yeah, I have mine right here.
He likes to
Hold
work
on.
on his bike every day.
You get these nifty orange shades right here.
The art sunglasses, yeah.
Boom.
I think my mom threw them out.
Oh no.
There's a question. What happens at Arts 101 Day? I don't know. I wasn't there.
I can tell you from my mom's rendition of it. There's a few sample lectures. There's some great tips on how to take notes. Here, wait. Actually, I can pull it up. Where is it?
And is it just with people in your program? I'm pretty sure you can meet like other people too, but I think it's a bit. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying.
I can do this, and then this. There.
Whoa.
Okay. Now you see my other screen. So yeah, I have two of them. So like this was one of the things that was at the Arts 101. So it just shows you how to take notes very well during class. And then that's just a barcode. And then this is another thing. This is very important. A lot of people haven't seen this before. It's the curve of forgetting. So it just shows like after your first day at the lecture. So day one is when you hear the lecture. By day two, you've already lost half of the information. So if you review like periodically every day, and then like on the 7th day, and then on the 30th day, you're less likely to forget stuff. Anyways, that's one of the things that you would be able to see and learn about at Arts 101. They do a whole bunch of other stuff. I don't know all of it, but there's a lot of really useful information. One of the reasons that I wish that I could have gone is that there's some really good information you get to, and oftentimes you'll be able to meet other people in GBDA and already start to connect with them before actually starting school.
Yeah. So
Arts 101 Day, you can meet lots of people that aren't just in GBDA, but also other arts programs too.
Yeah.
the way I remember mine being broken down, they might have changed it since then, but like I'm pretty sure it'll still be the same layout. Is you go into a big auditorium, you meet everyone, they give these like big presentations of just like tips and whatnot, and then they separate you by program. So like arts and business goes that way, GBDA goes that way, whatever goes that way. And then you meet your like professors, some of them, and like your advisors, just like people in the program, and you do like a project. Like not a project. That sounds pretty like that sounds like school. It's not school. It's like we did something cool. Like we drew stuff. I forgot. I only remember drawing a lot of geese. That's what I did. There was a point to it. Can't remember what the point was.
Geese
But like
attack.
it was fun, is my point. Like, oh man. Anyway, yes, go to Arts 101. It's basically just like you get to work with people in GBDA that'll be in your year. So
There's like a
it's-
sample lecture too, right?
Huh?
A sample lecture that day?
Yeah. Yes, there is.
Yeah. So I don't know if there's any other questions, like, and you're in the live chat.
Just let us know.
let us know. When we upload this, I'll try and put in sort of parts of where we talked about what, for the people that weren't able to join us, and you can also review back sort of what we talked about. It turned out to be a lot longer. We were hoping to take about like half an hour at a time, but I think we're over an hour now.
Oh, we've been going for almost an hour and a half, I want to say.
Okay, never mind. Much longer. But yeah, and I'll type out some of these tips and stuff. Basically, in a nutshell, residence is really up to what you want. If you want to be super social with people other than GBDA students, who you'll see all the time in Stratford, pick a residence like Rev or MKV or Village One or CLV. If you want to go to UWP, I recommend the Living Learning community. You're very close to other GBDA people. There's other people like engineering students and science students. And yeah, so it's really up to you. And then some great other tips that we sort of mentioned were get involved.
Yes.
It's going to improve just your time at the university so much more, rather than just sitting in your room by yourself watching Netflix. Make meaningful connections.
Yeah.
Now I sound like a TV prompter or whatever.
You sound like someone's mom before they drop them off at like the residence.
It's like, remember to do your laundry.
Make some friends.
Clean out your fridge every once in a while.
Any tips for getting around campus? I say your best bet is walking or like maybe the bus.
I'd say walking. You can walk across campus and
It's like max a
10.
10-15 minute walk.
Yeah.
If you walk fast.
Yeah.
I just thought of something.
Hey.
Okay, this is not residents and roommates at all. Taking a little twist. There are a bunch of great things that happen throughout the year. So one of them that I do, I'm a figure skater. But throughout the year, I think it's every Wednesday and Thursday, there's free skating at the rink at CIF, which is a Columbia Ice Fields.
Yeah.
And it's a great way to meet new people. And just like, if you're not someone that does a lot of working out or exercising or body conditioning, go to those, like, it's just like bring some skates and go skating for an hour. And there's also, in the residences, there's also workout facilities. So, or most of them. Rev, I think, has one, right, Kyle?
Yeah, we have a gym. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Claudette Miller Hall has one, so that's at UWP. And then there's the big one at PAC and SIF, so CIF.
Bank on PAC. It is currently being disassembled.
Right. They are they're like renovating that place, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't, like, they said it would be ready. I don't think it will be.
No.
I heard April 2018 last. That's what I last heard, but they barely
On all the
started.
posters, it says fall 2018.
Does it? Oh wow. Let's see if it's done by then.
No, it's not.
It's not.
There's no way.
I say latest next year maybe.
What about SLC? How's that coming along?
I think it's the same thing.
They're connected.
Wasn't that the goal to like fully connect them with this construction?
They're making a giant connection. It's going to have a rock climbing wall in it.
Yes, that's going to be fun.
So right now there's not a lot to see at SLC, so it'll be interesting to see what Arts 101 Day looks like with all the negative room there, or limited room. Yeah.
Okay, maybe we can end off. If anyone
If anybody
wants to join a club and doesn't know which one, and they're like, because I know that there is sort of a website, but like not really, feel free to like add me on Facebook and message me about it, because I've joined so many and I know a lot of them and the people in them. So yeah, and highly advise you, like, do whatever residence you want, but please, for your sake, do not, take this lightly, with a grain of salt, but I wouldn't recommend living in UWP if you're not going to be in living learning. Like, be in living learning's great, but if you're just in UWP, like on your own, unless you're with friends, it's going to be like a very different experience than in all the other residences.
Yeah, I totally agree. Don't live at UWP if you're not going to be in the living learning community, because it's going to be very different. There's a lot of other living learning communities there, like engineering is there, I know for sure. And so you're going to either be stuck with a lot of engineers or a lot of science faculty people, or math. So if you're going to live at UWP, living learning community is way to go. Can't talk. And if you do want to just live by yourself or with a roommate, definitely go and check out one of the other residences. And there's also the university colleges. I totally forgot about them.
Renison and St. Jerome's.
Yeah, so there's St. Jerome's, there's St. Paul's, and Conrad Grebel.
And Renison too, right?
Oh, and Renison. Yeah, I always forget about that one. Those do cost a little more. We didn't really talk a lot about cost, but those university colleges do cost more. They're also separate from the university residences. So your residence orientation might look slightly different. I know St. Jerome's goes to like a roller skating arena or something one night. But they're run a little different. One of them doesn't even have dons. They have like community leaders or something.
I'm just gonna mention, like, I have a lot of friends. A lot of people in GBDA in my year went to like the colleges, and the colleges definitely have a different feel. They're more of like a like close knit family. Like you're not gonna run into someone new every time. Like you'll know like the people in that college. Which is depending on what you're used to, it could feel more comfortable and you could feel like you could make a better transition through them. Also, their meal plans work a little bit differently. In St. Jerome's especially, like I think that one's like pay per visit and then you just get whatever you want.
Yeah, so those are...
And it's between certain hours, I believe, as well.
Yeah, so they're on a schedule of you can get food during certain hours. I have a friend who lives there. And then you get like 5 swipes per day. That's why a lot of the varsity sports students, a lot of the football players live at St. Paul's because they can get as much food as they want. So if you like eating a lot, go to the university colleges because you'll get a lot of food. And yeah, so they are definitely run a little bit differently, and you'll have to go to their website for more information on that. I just brought up this on my other screen. I'll just quickly share that. This is the Feds.
Blinking.
Oh, did that work?
That's glitching out big time.
Oh, okay. Well, anyways. Okay, sorry. Go to the Feds website. So that's feds.com, I think, or something like that. Or Federation of Students for University of Waterloo. They are the undergraduate government at our university, and you can find more information on clubs, services like food, student services, health and wellness, transportation, turnkey desk, which is at the SLC. Very useful. If you want cheaper movie tickets, you can get them for $6 at the turnkey desk. I learned that.
And you can buy your Go Bus tickets there.
Yes, that's where you get your Go Bus tickets.
Oh, there's also, I think, 2 new questions in the chat.
Oh.
Wait, which chat are you looking at? Why
the live chat. Oh, do you have top chat on? You might want to switch to live chat.
Did you guys get a picture of a smiley guy with glasses? Did that go to the wrong place?
That went to the 4 of us, or 3 of us.
Oh yeah, you're looking at our chat. You want to go into
open up, like,
go to the stream and you can see it.
It's okay.
Okay, well, I'll read them quick. So we got a question: what are the benefits of living in a LLC in UWP? We talked about that a little earlier. Hopefully, we answered your question, but sort of you're very close to other GBDA students, so you can ask some questions. You also get a peer leader So that's an upper year in GBDA that you can ask questions specifically about GBDA. So mine was Jennifer Shintani, who is fantastic. And she would come around every week. And if I had a question about Photoshop or I needed her to like be like, does this look good? She would always give it an honest answer and be able to help me fix my not very good graphic design skills. And then some other benefits are that you're living at UWP, which is very close to Haggie Hall, Arts Lecture, Dana Porter Library, and RCH, which is where a lot of your first year classes are going to be. So that was very helpful. I don't know.
It's the closest res to campus.
Yeah.
And you have you have like your food court like downstairs, but then you have an entire plaza of food.
Oh, the plaza is so good.
There's pizza. Like freshman 15 is not a lie.
Oh,
It's not.
it
It's
came
not.
out heavy.
So
It hit too hard.
yeah.
I was lucky. I actually didn't gain that much.
Try and do something like either ballroom dancing or intramural or something. Once a week, maybe twice a week.
Yeah,
just
go to the skating once a week
Yeah.
too.
just do something because I know for me it was harder to eat healthy, even though there's so many healthy options. It's just easy to go get some candy down at the calf.
Yep.
What I recommend is getting an apple cutter thing like that you press down on apples. Just buy a bag of apples and make a goal of eating an apple a day.
And keep the doctor away.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, so we got another question quick. So when you fill out your residency ranking form and you click LLC, it doesn't give you an option to select CMH or other residencies. So when do we choose suite style or traditional style dorm rooms? Okay, so that is once they have gotten all that information, they'll send you another form later. I think it's after June 4th or something like that. I don't remember when the deadline is. And it'll basically ask you a whole bunch of questions. You'll be able to rank CMH, apartment style, like your styles, your residence. You'll also be able to rank and put in stuff like, do you get up early at night? Do you go to bed late? Do you eat in the middle of the day? Do you eat like in the evening? And do you take showers in the morning? Do you take showers in the evening? Like a whole bunch of stuff just about your residence habits and how you live, so that they can match you with roommates that sort of follow those habits, and so you don't have too many conflictions. Hopefully that answers your question.
So if anybody has any more questions, just write them down because I think we're probably going to wrap up in a couple minutes.
For real this time.
Yes, for real. So if you guys have any more last minute questions, feel free to just knock them down and we'll answer them to the best of our ability.
If not, I'll shoot a joke and then we'll end on that.
We should all tell a really bad joke before.
I got it. Wait, I forgot.
What's that one Laurel told at the starter hacks? Oh, I got it. Okay.
Oh, you got it? Okay.
Oh, am I telling it?
Go ahead. Tell your joke.
I don't want to tell it.
I don't remember it. If you type it out,
okay, I'll just do it. It was like, we want low-flying airplane noise, and we want them right now. That's bad. I'm sorry.
I've never heard that one.
It's a pretty good one. I enjoyed it.
Washes up on tiny beaches.
Wait, what?
What washes up on tiny
beaches?
What?
Little crabs?
Microwaves.
Oh my god.
What? Okay, yeah.
Okay.
I think we can
end it now. We can
successfully close it off on that.
Okay. So for those of you that watched and were with us the entire way, thanks for joining us. I will be taking this and editing it a little and put in like markers as to when you can look at what information if you want to review it.
Wait, we have one more question.
Flex dollars.
Is there anyone wants to answer that?
I don't know how those work.
Flex dollars. Like, where can you use them, or what are they?
I think just what are they?
Okay, so you have meal plan dollars, which can only be used for like specific food things. Like there's a specific amount of locations that you can use them at, which is mostly just like the cafeterias at the residences. And I think does Starbucks and like Timmy's take meal plan?
Oh no, they take
Yeah,
Flex
wait.
dollars.
Okay.
No, Tim's does take meal plan.
You get, I think, don't you get a discount if you use like meal plan money?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a list. I can fetch a link for you. But basically, meal plan is mostly just food. Like you cannot get anything else with meal plan but food. Flex dollars, however, they're more flexible. So you can go into
Knee slapper.
which is like an international news station, like a convenience store type thing, and they only take flex dollars and like other payments, but they don't take meal plan. And basically, you can buy like calculators, food, whatever
Vending
you
machines.
need, shampoo.
The vending machines only take Flex dollars on campus.
So like, and then like if you want to go off campus, there are certain places that will also take flex dollars, but not meal plan. So
Like, there's a Mongolian grill in the plaza. I'm pretty sure they take flex dollars.
they do. So the difference is that some places will take only flex, some places will take meal plan, and yeah. So that's really it. It's just like the locations where you can use them. If you run out of meal plan money and you need to get into the cafeteria, you can still use your flex dollars. They'll work. Don't think you get a discount on it though.
Yeah.
No.
But you'll still get your food. So like it's a little bit confusing at the start, but the more you ask, like you'll go into a store and you'll be like, hey, do you take flex dollars or meal plan? And they'll be like, we take flex dollars. Then you'll go and you'll pay with flex dollars. Like sometimes it like baits you a bit. So like there's a bubble tea store like on campus in the SLC. They don't take either. They just don't take your walk card. They want that straight cash money. So you can't, like, it'll take some getting used to, but you'll catch on pretty quick. It's literally just some places take one, some places take the other. Hopefully that kind of clears it up.
And then after the semester, if you have any money meal plan wise remaining on your account, it gets transferred into Flex dollars.
Half of it.
Half of it? Really?
Half of it.
Oh.
I think you get to keep your meal plan, right?
I thought it got all
half
transferred to
of your
Flex.
meal plan. So half of it stays in meal plan, half of it goes to flex dollars. You don't lose money. It's just they like split it.
Oh crap! I'm gonna have like
Confirmed.
$500 of flex dollars. What am I gonna use that for?
You can buy me food next year.
Yeah. Dinner's on Felix, guys.
Yeah. Okay. So, anyways, yeah, we see some people are logging off, but yeah. So flex dollars are basically like a visa for the university. You can use them for printers, and especially you always want to have flex dollars to do laundry, because laundry machines only take flex dollars. They will not take your visa. They will not take your debit card.
Change.
So you always want to keep. I usually keep a minimum of $25 on flex dollars. It's also nice just to have if you need to go to the media doc or print something off. It's good to have on your account.
Yeah. Flex dollars are great. Don't get upset if your meal plan money changes to flex dollars. You can still use it.
Yeah.
Don't fret. It's fine. It'll be fine.
I don't think mine's been converted because I still have $900 of meal plan money.
Did you not eat?
Well, I got like the medium one, so I used like $500 of it, but I didn't always like the food, so I got a lot of groceries.
I got the big one, and I only have $7 left.
Holy.
Everyone was eating.
Maybe that's why freshman 15 didn't happen to me. Didn't eat enough. Okay. Anyways, it was great having anyone. And we'll see you. I think we're doing another one of these in June.
Are we? Oh.
Yep.
Yeah, so that'll be, if you join us in June, it'll be all about courses and electives. In July, it's going to be a Waterloo in general, so the city, and then also about Stratford and the Stratford life. And so you can look forward to those 2 videos. We hope to see more of you out. And again, this will be posted on this GBDA Society account after I've edited them a little. Anyways.
We'll also probably link them to Facebook too.
Yes. Anyways, goodbye everyone. Thanks for joining us. Goodbye.